Good day to each and everyone. This is an educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardenis, to use this as an educational material. So, I am Cadet Baron Kent Piapuda, and we are the Group 4. Our topic is environmental crisis. So, these are the lesson overview of our topic, environmental crisis. So first is discuss the origin and manifestation of global environmental crisis, relate everyday encounters with pollution, global warming, desertification, ozone depletion, and examine policies and programs of government around the world that addresses the environmental crisis. Next is what is the relationship of population growth to environmental issues, food security, sustainability, development, and future of globalization. So, my topic is to discuss the origin and manifestation of global environment crisis. So this is my overview of that. Despite being the only speck in an immersed universe, our planet Earth is very unique. To date, it is the only planet we know with life present, having developed there over approximately 4.6 billion year existence of the planet. In comparison with other objects, Earth is relatively small. It evolves around the Sun, an obscure star in interior of Milky Way galaxy. Earth in history, humans evolved the capability to deal with such as short-term crises. Even the Ice Age, certainly a major environmental crisis faced by the early humans, occurred over 10,000 of years. A period in brief terms of geological processes, but unimaginable long in human terms. Yet, over the past 2 centuries, and especially in recent decades, the situation has changed markedly. The exponential growth of human population in the technology has generated significant changes with neither biological evolution nor political system can deal effectively. However, in general, its main cause of are now acknowledged to be the technological developments over the course of human history, and particularly since industrial revolution, which have allowed humans to exert a greater influence over the natural resources and ecosystem. So I am done with my part. I am giving the next topic to another reporter. Thank you.
Good day, sir. Good day, everyone. I am Indian Cadet Loyloy, and I will talk about the pollution. So, first, the presence of harmful substances in the air, land, and water which can have an adverse effect on living beings and on the environment is pollution. So, pollution is the introduction of harmful materials into the environment. It is the largest environment cause of disease and premature death. It causes more than 11 million premature deaths. That's several times more deaths than from the AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria combined. So how it is even possible? So from smog hanging over cities to smoke inside the home, air pollution poses a major threat to health and climate. So ambient outdoor air pollution in both cities and rural areas is causing fine particulate matter, which result in stroke, heart disease, lung cancer, acute and chronic respiratory disease. So we can relate this into our daily activities. So everyday activities such as heating, cleaning, painting, and decorating can contribute to indoor air pollution. So it also have in our common household products such as cleaning sprays, paints, varnish, pesticides, grease, solvent removers, and aerosol sprays may also contain harmful chemicals that pollutes the air. So the humans also impact the physical environment in many ways. So the pollution is one of that. Then it also have overpopulation, burning fossil fuels, and deforestation. So changes like these have triggered climate change, soil erosion, poor air quality, and undrinkable water. Long-term health effects from air pollution include heart disease, lung cancer, and respiratory disease such as emphysema. So, air pollution can also cause long-term damages to people's nerves, brain, kidneys, liver, and other organs. So, as with every environmental problem, while there are many solutions to pollution, adding more people to the population adds more polluter and makes those solutions less effective. That will cause to the global warming. So we will now go to global warming. So what is global warming? It is an aspect of climate change referring to the long-term rise of the planet's temperature. So it is caused by increased concentrations of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, mainly from the human activities such as burning fuels and farming. So global warming stresses ecosystems through temperature rises, water shortages, increased fire threats, drought, weed and pest invasions, intense storm damage and salt invasion, and a lot more. So the impacts of climate change on different sectors of society are interrelated. So drought can harm food production and human health. Flooding can lead to a disease spread and damages to ecosystem and infrastructure. And human health issues can increase mortality, impact food availability, and limit worker productivity. So global warming is important also since it helps determine the future climate expectations. Through the use of latitude, one can determine the likelihood of snow and hail reaching the surface. So you can also be able to identify the thermal energy from the sun that is accessible to a region. There are also many solutions to the global warming. So for example, improvements to energy efficiency and vehicle fuel economy, increase in wind and solar power, biofuels from organic waste, setting a price on carbon, and protecting are all potent ways to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide and other gases trapping heat on the planet. So instead of becoming more dependent, we need to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels and electricity right away. So optical for eco-friendly options like solar energy and wind power. Take up the habit of recycling and reusing, and do not throw away things. Instead, learn to reuse them properly. So global warming is a phenomenon where the Earth's average temperature rises due to the increased amounts of greenhouse gases, which will explain by Jonas in the next topic. And greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, methane, and ozone trap the coming radiation from the sun. So, the next reporter will continue or elaborate the global warming. Thank you.
Good day, sir. Good day, classmates. I am Engine Cadet Jonas Mejos, and I am here to report about my topic. My topic is all about the greenhouse gases and global warming effects in the future. So, what is a greenhouse gas? A greenhouse gas is a gas that absorbs and emits radiant energy within the thermal infrared range, causing the greenhouse effect. The primary greenhouse gases in Earth's atmosphere are water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and ozone. Without greenhouse gases, the average temperature of Earth's surface would be about negative 18 degrees Celsius, rather than the present average of 15 degrees Celsius. The atmosphere of Venus, Mars, and Titan also contain greenhouse gases. Natural process. Greenhouse gases can be removed from the atmosphere by various processes as a consequence of a physical change, a chemical reaction within the atmosphere. Any gases that cause the greenhouse effect are water vapor, methane, nitrous oxide, and carbon dioxide. Let's imagine a car on a cool but a sunny day. The sunlight can pass through the windscreen and warm up the inside of the car. So, muinit ang sod sa tungod sa init sa sun, ang sod sa sakyanan muinit sad nya, the heat can't get back out through the windscreen. So ang mahitabo na, the car becomes hotter and hotter. Next is a global warming affects the future. In the future, warming and sea level rise will continue and will probably occur more quickly than what we've already seen. Even if greenhouse gases are stabilized, this will probably continue to occur for centuries. Some effects may be permanent. Throughout the 21st, global warming rates have increased by unprecedented amounts. As the Earth's changing climate becomes a pertinent issue for nature and human society, climate scientists continue to predict the effects that rising temperatures will have on the whole planet in the world in the future. Potential future effects of global warming are visible everywhere, whether it's melting glaciers, rising sea level, severe storms, heavy flooding, reduced snowfall in the north, and a severe drought in the south. It will also have a number of effects in the flora and fauna in the future. Scientists predict that a global warming in the near future may cause a mass extinction of wildlife affecting more than 1 million species. When the topic of global warming becomes up in conversation, many people either groan and avoid conversation or don their dwelling gloves and prepare for a heated debate. Some people feel guilty and concerned. Some simply do not care. And that's all. Thank you.
Good day. I'm Engine Cadet Napoles, so I'm here to report about my topic, desertification consequences, loss of biodiversity by worsening the living conditions of many species, food insecurity due to crop failure or reduced yields, the loss of vegetation cover and therefore of food for livestock and humans. Last, increased risk of zoonotic diseases such as COVID-19. So, what is it mean by desertification? Desertification is a type of land degradation in drylands in which biological productivity is lost due to natural processes or induced by human activities whereby fertile areas become increasingly arid. And next, my topic is ozone layer depletion. Studies demonstrate that an increase in UVB rays causes a higher risk of skin cancer, plays a major role in malignant melanoma development, sunburns, quick aging, eye cataracts, blindness, and weakened immune system. Ozone layer primary job is to block the sun's dangerous ultraviolet rays. The ozone layer depletion is a reason for concern because it will be unable to filter out ultraviolet radiation effectively, resulting in a variety of skin issues. So, what is it mean by ozone layer? So, the ozone layer or ozone shield is a region of Earth's stratosphere that absorbs most of the sun's ultraviolet radiation. It contains a high concentration of ozone in relation to other part of atmosphere, although still small in relation to other gases in the stratosphere.
Good day everyone, my name is Engine Cadet Joseph Brian Tugbong and I am here to present and report about the globe, about the political policy. Intensive analytical work has accumulated on climate security. The intense focus on reducing carbon emission has diverted attention from the wider challenges that comes from ecological disruption. In Europe, the EU Green Deal brings together multiple strands of policy to propel European states toward a low-carbon economy. Philippines commits to climate inaction in addressing the threat of climate change. In 2016, the Philippine Senate ratified the Doha Amendment to the Kyoto Protocol to help achieve the goal of limiting global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius. This focus on promoting energy efficiency, improving transport system, shifting to cleaner fuels and vehicles, improving solid waste management and water and wastewater treatment, ensuring forest protection, restoration, and rehabilitation. Countries differ in opinion on how to proceed with international policy with respect to climate agreements. Long-term long-term goal formulated in Europe and the United States. It seeks to reduce greenhouse gas emission by up to 80% by the middle of 21st century. To address global warming, society must find ways to fundamentally change their patterns of energy use, forest and lands management, and less carbon-intensive energy generation.
Good day everyone, I am Engine Cadet Kansan Shaken and I'm going to discuss the population growth, resources and consumption. So we believe that we only have one Earth, and today the 7.9 billion people on it are using more of its resources that it can provide. So every new person is a new consumer. Adding to that demand, some of us take far more than others, and there are many steps those of us who do must take to make our consumption sustainable. So throughout history, and especially during the 20th century, environmental degradation has primarily been a product of our efforts to secure improved standards of food, clothing, shelter, comfort, and recreation for growing numbers of people. So the magnitude of the threat to the ecosystem is linked to human population size and resource use per person. This resource use, like waste production and environmental degradation, are accelerated by population growth. So there are further exacerbated by consumption habits, certain technological developments, and particular patterns of social organization and social resource management. So in today's day, Earth faces a triple planetary emergency. First is the climate is heating up too quickly for people and nature to adapt. And second is habitat loss and other pressure mean an estimated 1 million species are threatened with extinction. So third is the pollution continues to poison our air, land, and water. So as human numbers further increase, the potential for irreversible changes of far-reaching the magnitude also increases. Indicators of severe environmental stress include the growing loss of biodiversity, increasing greenhouse gas emissions, increasing the deforestation worldwide, stratospheric ozone depletion, acid rain, loss of topsoil, and shortage of water, food and fuel, wood in many parts of the world. So, for being the quality of life and environment, our common goal is improving the quality of life for all people, those living today and succeeding generation, ensuring their social, economic, and personal well-being with guarantees of fundamental human rights, and allowing them to live harmoniously with a protected environment. We believe that This is the goal can be achieved provided we are willing to undertake the requisite social change. So, given time, political will, and intelligent use of science and technology, human ingenuity can remove many constraints on improving human welfare worldwide, finding substitutes for wasteful practices and protecting the natural environment. So that's all.
Good day everyone, I'm Engine Cadet Mark Jimenez and I will tackle about global population growth and paradigm of global sustainability of food security. So what is global population growth? Based on the scenarios of global population growth of 2009 to 2050, world population is expected to grow by over a third or 2.3 billion people between 2009 and 2050. This is a much lower rate of growth than the one seen in the past 4 decades, during which it grew by 3.3 billion people, or more than 90%. Nearly all of this growth is forecast to take place in the developing countries. The world population projected to reach 9.8 billion in 2050 and 11.2 billion in 2100. The current world population of 7.6 billion is expected to reach 8.6 billion in 2030, 9.8 billion in 2050, and 11.2 billion in 2100. So the population growth is the increase in the number of humans on Earth. For most of human history, our population size was relatively stable, but with innovation and industrialization, energy, food, and water, and medical care became more available and reliable. Consequently, global human population rapidly increased and continues to do so, with dramatic impacts on global climate and ecosystems. We will need technological and social innovation to help us support the world's population as we adapt to the mitigate climate and environmental changes. So next is paradigm of global sustainability of food security. So the food sustainability is very important. To partaking in sustainable food practices ensures your business or home has a low environmental impact. Sustainable food aims to avoid damaging or wasting natural resources. It minimizes the contribution to climate change, as it often means eating more local food which is not transported too far. So, what is food security and sustainability? Food security is defined as a situation that exists when all people at all times have physical, social, and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. So, food scarcity or abundance, foods, energy, raw materials, environmental challenge, and development versus environmentalism. So that's all about my topic.
So good day guys, I am Julian Mabala, and in this video I am going to discuss the paradigms of global sustainability. So the sustainability of globalization may or may not be in the same time direction for all nations. Some countries may experience an improved local environment as a result of globalization process, whereas others experience a deteriorating one. The same applies for social or economic effects of the globalization process. Not mentioning the word globalization, they, however, pointed out a number of key aspects of this phenomenon. such as new industries whose introduction become a life and death questions for all civilized nations, by industries that no longer work up indigenous raw material but raw material drawn from the remotest zones. Industries whose products are consumed not only at home but in every quarter of the globe. In place of the old ones, satisfied by the production of the country, we find new necessities requiring for the satisfaction of the products of distant land and climes. In place of the old local and national seclusion of self-sufficiency, we have intercourse and every direction universal interdependence of nation. And this refers both to material and to intellectual production. The intellectual creations of individual nations become common property. National one-sidedness and narrow-mindedness become more and more impossible. And from the numerous national and local literatures, there arises the world literature. So the fact that many aspects of such a relatively recent phenomenon were accurately noticed more than 150 years ago makes one wonder about the true age of globalization and its historical antecedents, even though a truly massive surge of research interested in the diverse aspects of globalization occurred much later. Starting in the 1980s and 1990s, since that time, thousands of academic papers have been published, not to mention the popular scientific literature, addressing the very essence of globalization, its age and its effects on various spheres of humans' life. Many of these offered their own definitions for the globalization phenomenon, more or less detailed, relatively general or highlighting some particular aspects, and of course widely differing in meaning. Practically, all countries have implemented the pattern of con- conventional development that follows a single linear line of economics focusing on growth of output as a function of production factors consisting of natural resources, manpower, capital, skills, and technology. Gross world products has increased in the year 2000, almost sevenfold from that in 1950. Consumption of material and services has seen manifold increase as compared to a half century ago. The three pillar conceptions of social, economic, and environmental sustainability, commonly represented by three intersecting circles with overall sustainability at the center, has become ubiquitous with a view of identifying the genesis and theoretical foundations of this conception. This paper reviews and discusses relevant historical sustainability literature. From this, we find that there is no single point of origin of this three-pillar conception, but rather a gradual emergence from various critics in the early academic literature of the economic status from both social and ecological perspectives on the one hand, and a quest to reconcile economic growth as a solution to social and ecological problems on the part of United Nations on the other. The population tree circles diagrams appears to have been first presented by Barbier Environ Conserve 14101. Albeit purpose towards developing nations with foci which differ from modern interpretation. The conceptualization of three pillars seems to predate this. However, nowhere we have found a theoretical rigorous description of the three pillars. This is thought to be in part due to nature of the sustainability discourse arising from broadly different schools of thought historically. The absence, such as theoretically solid conception, frustrates approaches towards a theoretically rigorous operational of sustainability. Scarcity of abundance consists of food, energy, and raw materials, while environmental challenge consists of development versus environmentalism. Sustainable maintenance of a process without exhaustion or collapse. Intra and intergeneral issue. Capacity of a system to accommodate changes. So building sustainable societies depends on sensitive and complex changes in different spheres, from the personal including perceptions, values, attitudes, behaviors, and relationships, to the planetary considering the interactions between political, cultural, environmental, social, economic components among others. The so-called local to global movement has accounted for only a part of the necessary changes on an increasingly globalized planet. It is no longer acceptable. In fact, it is just now that the burden sustainability falls only on individuals in isolated and non-political demands such as selective disposal, shorter baths, and less opening the refrigerator on hot days.